Okay, the meeting is now in session. We're in order, and we'll have the reading of the meeting notice.
The Board of Directors of the School District of the City of Erie, PA will meet in regular session on Wednesday, March 11th, 2020, in the auditorium at East Middle School, 1001 Atkins Street, at 6 o'clock p.m. by request of the President, John C. Harkins.
And the roll call, please.
Ms. Sheridan?
Here.
Mr. Spagel?
Here.
Mr. Titus?
Here.
Ms. Cooley?
Here.
Mrs. Feeney?
Here.
Mrs. McNair?
Mrs. McNair made the Secretary's office aware that she'd be unable to attend this evening.
Mr. Nichols?
Here.
Ms. Pickens?
Here.
Mr. Harkins?
Here. Okay, tonight's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Willie Ash, a sixth grade student from Woodrow Wilson Middle School. They'll be introduced by Mr. Richard Snyder, the principal, followed by a moment of silence for Michael Easterling, brother of School Board Director Gwendolyn Cooley, who passed away on February 10th, 2020, for Diane Bernard, retired principal, who passed away on February 18th, 2020, Yvonne Peck, a former teacher who passed away on February 21st, 2020, Donald DePlacido, retired guidance counselor who passed away on February 27th, 2020, and Rosemary Cavaney, retired teacher who passed away on March 6th, 2020. Mr. Schneider?
Good evening, members of the board, Mrs. Habersky, Mr. Brockman, and Mr. Polito. I'm very excited today to present to you Mr. Willie Ash from Woodrow Wilson Middle School. He is a sixth grader in Miss Dovachow's class. Willie is the son of Lisa Lynn Palmer. He has a brother, Giovanni Gonzalez, another brother, Damian Shamira, and a third brother, Alvante Collins. Willie really likes to learn. He wants us to know that he has made it his goal to be as good as he can be. His favorite subjects are math, writing, and science. He is a very good student, and he likes to write, and he really even likes TDAs. So our educators in the audience, I think, will be thrilled to hear that. He enjoys basketball, board games, and hanging out with his family. Willie wants us to know that he made it a goal to get great grades and to someday go to Harvard. He wants to be a lawyer so that he can help families and be part of court. So, Willie, we're very pleased to have you here this evening. Thank you, and when you're ready.
All rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Willie. If you'd come around this way, we'd all like to shake your hand. Oh, fist pump, Willie.
Yeah. First you take a shower in Corral, then we'll shake your hand. Poor kid. There we go. We got this down. Except I'm a lefty. I'll throw him off. Good job.
Through Mrs. Sheridan's intercession, Willie's being given a chocolate W from Stefanelli's. Mrs. Sheridan is our resident sweet tooth, and she saw that we all got chocolate shamrocks from Romolo's. Thank you, Willie. I have a certificate of appreciation from the board to Lacey Jo Hunter, the student rep to the board for February and March from Northwest PA Collegiate Academy. It reads, Lacey Jo Hunter, this is presented to you for your service as student representative to the Board Board of Directors of Erie's Public Schools for February and March of 2020. Tyler, would you please?
Thank you.
Lacey Jo, at this time, if you have any remarks you want to make while you're...
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to come up here and represent my peers in my school. It's been a lot of fun and a great learning experience. So thank you.
You were a good representative.
Thanks.
The board met in executive session on Wednesday, March 4th, 2020, in the Conference Room 3 at the Dr. James E. Barker Leadership Center, 148 West 21st Street, from 7:38 p.m. to 8:39 p.m. regarding negotiations, legal, and personnel matters. Next up is a report of the superintendent. Mr. Polito.
As you may know, as of this afternoon, there were 15 confirmed or presumptive positive coronavirus cases in our state, resulting in several school districts and colleges shutting down and or modifying their instruction, delivery, or operations. I want to assure all our families that our building administrators, nurses, and custodial staff are working together to help keep our students safe and healthy. We're fortunate that we haven't seen any cases in our area, but we're proactively developing a plan to ensure we're able to continue delivering high-quality education to all of our students. That includes distributing technology to those students who may need it online, should the need arise. In the meantime, we continue to monitor the situation with the help of our state and local health agencies, and will communicate any new developments to you as soon as possible. On a happier note, on February 22nd, our Royal Girls Basketball team won the District 10 championship for the third year in a row. Thanks for being such a great ambassador for our district. Congratulations also go out to Collegiate Academy students Lacey Jo Hunter, who was our student rep tonight, and Destiny Chrome, who won the Penndot Innovation Challenge for creating an app that would help recognize and combat littering as it occurs in real time. More information is available on the district's news section of our website. Congratulations. I'd also like to say a big thank you to all our staff, teachers, administrators, and community members who read it to our students or otherwise participated in events during a Read Across America week. You helped make this week a very special time for our schools. And finally, a reminder, there will be no school on Friday, March 20th. Pre-K will not be in session. Now I'd like Mr. Nixon to come up for the Stair Climber Award.
Thank you, Mr. Polito. The Stick-to-Itive Stair Climber Award is our monthly student recognition award that we do in honoring our students of making improvements in their attendance, their classroom, their positive behavior, or their classroom performance. So it's an honor today to recognize these students that we have for March 2020. These students have shown tenacity, grit, and perseverance in improving, again, in those three key areas. I did already talk. I know everybody's talking about the coronavirus. We had our cookies and juice. We made sure we sanitized before, thanks to the cafeteria staff having, a plentiful amount of hand sanitizer. So the other part is I know we're going to do fist bumps as we come down. I've talked to all the parents. So just real quick again, what we're going to have, when I announce the student's name, we'll just come down, get a quick fist bump. And Mrs. Sutton, who's offered to help support tonight, we thank her. She's the principal of Edison Elementary. So Mrs. Sutton will have a paper certificate. I did talk with the parents. We don't have the wooden plaques for today, but we will have them for them, and we'll deliver them Friday or Monday. But the paper certificates were done by Janae Butler of our communications department, so big thanks to Janae. And also big thanks to Matt Koval for letting me use the laminator on a quick moment. So with that being said, if we could just pause, and I definitely want to recognize all of our families that came out tonight. So if you join me with a round of applause for our families. Okay, well, let's have some fun. So we're going to start off tonight from the DePaulo Student Success Center, a first grader. Easton Urban, grade 1, has been in our cyber program for 2 years. He attends the lab daily. Easton works hard to complete his daily to-do list. He likes coming into the lab for art, music, and gym class. Easton not only works hard on his assignments, but he encourages others to work on their work and to make progress. He is a friend to all of us. He welcomes new students to the lab and shows the ropes of the program. He is a great friend and motivator to all students in the Cyber K-5 program. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for our first winner, Easton Urban. Got him? Okay. That's a big amount of information for a first grader. Very bold. Erie High School, Xavion drastically improved his grades during second quarter. He went from a 51% in algebra to a 96%. In English language arts, he went from a 51% to a 90%. Xavion has completely changed his attitude. He now comes ready to work. Xavion asks questions when he does not understand, and he volunteers answers. Xavion is a real pleasure to have in the classroom. Ladies and gentlemen, 10th grader from Erie High, Xavion Schultz. From Northwest Pennsylvania Collegiate Academy, 12th grader. Ahmed is a senior at Collegiate Academy. Ahmed was having a rough year with some of his classes. Recently, though, he has been putting in the time and effort, and teachers are seeing what he can do in the classroom as he is hitting his timelines on assignments and in research. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ahmed Al-Lahabi. And I do know that we have a few people that did not RSVP tonight, so I'm guessing that they are just home, getting well rested and back on track. From East Middle School, 8th grader. East Middle School is proud to nominate 8th grader Christina Ecker as our stair climber for the month of March. Christina has made improvements in her attendance as well as academic performance since the beginning of school. In addition to her attendance and grades, Christina has also worked hard to go the entire school year without a single behavior referral to the office. Christina's teachers were unanimous in their recommendation for her, and they said that not only is she working hard in school, but she also displays an incredible level of kindness to others every single day. Christina truly embodies what it is to be a warrior, and we are proud to have her represent our school. So Christina Ecker. From Strong Vincent Middle School, 6th grader. The Colonels are proud to recognize 6th grader Namari Nelson. Her teachers cited her compassion, character, and charisma as reasons for their unanimous choice. Namari represents all that it means to be a colonel. Her kind heart and insatiable love of learning make her a joy to teach. So, ladies and gentlemen, Namari Nelson. Wilson, 7th grader. Janalise Crespo has greatly improved her behavior and grades since the third quarter began. While she has always been a decent student, she has lately been refining her behavior in class, which has resulted in a corresponding increase in participation in class activities. This benefits the class, that benefits her personally by expanding her comprehension of 7th grade concepts. Her progress has been reflected in her grades and confidence when answering questions. For those improvements, Wilson Middle School proudly names Janalise Crespo for this month's Stair Climber Award. Grover Cleveland Elementary School. Jamal comes to school every day with a positive attitude. That positive attitude has directly impacted his excellent grades, his outstanding attendance, and his blemish-free behavior record. We are proud of Jamal's success and his awesome attitude. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamal Carson, Jr. Second, I thought so. He's a second grader, too. I wanted to make sure I gave him that due. From Joanna Connell. Second grader. Both administrators and the second grade team are very pleased to recognize Serenity Roberts for her tremendous gains in behavior since the beginning of the year. Her teacher, Mrs. Herdzik, has noticed that Serenity now takes the time to think things through, to make careful and thoughtful decisions as she demonstrates the Connell Cougar expectations of being respectful, responsible, and safe. Not only has her behavior improved, but her teacher has seen an improvement in the amount of effort she puts forth in class. And as a result, Serenity has shown academic growth and progress as well. Joanna Connell believes Serenity truly deserves this month's award and recognition. Ladies and gentlemen, second grader Serenity Roberts. From Deal Elementary School, fifth grader, getting a little bigger. Jazarion Paul is the Deal Stair Climber for March. He has shown significant growth in language arts, including an increase in reading words per minute and accuracy. His CDT score increased by 244 points. And he has also earned the Deal Soaring Eagle Award for safe, respectful, and responsible behavior. Way to go, Jazarion. You make Deal proud. Jazarion Paul. And he's a Steelers fan. Oh, sorry. Edison Elementary, second grader. Ankita continually displays intrinsically motivated stamina as she grows academically. She engages in all classroom discussions and generates meaningful conversation amongst her peers that relates to curriculum content and life experiences. As Ankita continues to celebrate her own cultural diverse background, she enjoys making connections to new content and immerses herself in the learning process. Ankita also contributes to the positive culture of the classroom through building kind relationships with her peers as a leader in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, second grader Ankita Batare. Harding, fifth grader. Kaysen was chosen because he has worked exceedingly hard this year. He has grown tremendously in his overall maturity, independence, and academic vigor. Ladies and gentlemen, fifth grader Kaysen Perez. Yes, no, okay, sorry. I didn't see him for cookies and juice, but he doesn't mean he's not here. All right. Jefferson fifth grader Rayshawn has always been a well-behaved student. This year, Rayshawn has raised his grades significantly since fourth grade in all subjects. In one case, Rayshawn raised his grade 25%. Rayshawn's attendance has greatly improved over last year, too. At this time, Rayshawn has raised his attendance 38% over last year. We are proud to have such a leader and a gentleman at Jefferson. Way to go, Rayshawn. Ladies and gentlemen, Rayshawn Moss. Lincoln, first grader. It is an honor to have such a well-behaved, kind-hearted student like Ayush. He's shown significant growth since pre-K. He received his honors this quarter. He's a happy student with a fantastic smile. He's a true example of a Lincoln Lion leader. Congratulations, Ayush. Keep up the good work. Ladies and gentlemen, Ayush Tamang. From McKinley, fifth grader. Franco has made great improvements as a fifth grader this year. He is respectful, tries to intervene and help when issues arise in class or school. He is a great example for all Mariners, young and old. Way to go, Franco. We are proud of you. Ladies and gentlemen, fifth grader Franco Mabaru Shamana. Okay. Perry Elementary fifth grader. I am recommending Khalil for the Stair Climber Award because of his continued perseverance with academics all year long. Every day he comes ready to try his best in everything he does. Even when we are faced with challenging content, he participates to the best of his ability. He is cooperative with classmates and has a great sense of humor. When he makes mistakes, he learns from it. His ability to keep on trying, even when things get tough, and his work ethic will help him succeed as he gets older. I just know it. Ladies and gentlemen, fifth grader from Perry Elementary, Khalil Johnson. I'll finish and jump right back. Okay. From Piper Burley, second grader. Janera Cruz Torres is our PB stair climber for the month. She has made improvements in her behavior and her motivation to complete her work. She motivates others to want to learn with her positive attitude. She is very kind and helpful to everyone in our classroom. She wants to be a leader and help whoever she can. She even welcomed our new student with open arms and made her feel welcome and special in our classroom. Congratulations, Janira. We are so very proud of your accomplishments. Ladies and gentlemen, second grader Janira Cruz Torres. And we're going to swing back real quick. Strong Vincent. I'm going to reread it and honor her accordingly since she's being present. The Colonels are proud to recognize sixth grader Namari Nelson. Her teachers cited her compassion, character, and charisma as reasons for their unanimous choice. Namari represents all that it means to be a colonel. Her kind heart and insatiable love of learning make her a joy to teach. So ladies and gentlemen, in the present, Namari Nelson, sixth grader from Strong Vincent. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do our large group photo, and after the photo, we'll all head out to the lobby, parents and guardians, and we'll do photos individually with our schools. And I just want to again thank everybody, and again, congratulations to our March 2020 stair climbers. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll head out to do individual picks. Thank you so much.
Well, at last month's meeting, I did share that Grover Cleveland did win the Title I Distinguished School Award, and Ms. Fiorelli's here tonight to present that award to the district.
Good evening, members of the board. We're very proud of our Cougars at Grover Cleveland. Our teachers and students work very hard with our academic achievement. I'm very proud to lead the district the last several years with our PSSA scores. Our fifth grade math last year was #1 out of 47 schools in the IU for their growth in the PVAS, in the area of the PVAS for the math, and our fifth grade ELA was 7 out of the 47 schools. So we're very proud of those accomplishments. We were pleasantly surprised that the state felt the same way. We received notification, I believe you have a copy of the letter, received notification mid-January that we received the Title I Distinguished Schools Award. We have a copy for you of the other schools who also received the award for the top 5% growth in the 2 most recently completed academic years. Mr. Carner was able to go to the actual presentation in Pittsburgh in January to receive the award on behalf of Grover Cleveland. They gave us a very nice keystone with the award for our school, and we also have a presentation for you of another certificate, so you have a copy of the award as well. Thank you.
Once again, congratulations to you and your staff.
Congratulations. We appreciate all you're doing. Congratulations.
And now we have Ms. Nora Dolak. She's our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, and she's coming tonight to share some of our new curricular adoptions.
Good evening, President Harkins, esteemed board members, Superintendent Polito, administrators, and stakeholders of Erie's Public Schools. I am glad to be here tonight to offer a curriculum materials update. This is an area, by the way, I am Nora Dolak. I should introduce myself. I'm the Director of Curriculum and Assessment. Curriculum materials is an area where we've had a lot of activity over the last year, and we will continue over the next year to do so in this department. I have a few slides to share with you, just detailing the process. Every committee has to be posted. That's by the teacher contract, so that teachers who are going to be impacted by this change are represented in the change process. And also so that it goes by the most senior teaching individuals. We have committee meetings. They follow the same kind of format as you see on the screen here. Every content has some differences. For instance, I've recently been working with mathematics. They were very concerned about the sequencing of certain mathematics concepts. So that was something that we had to approach differently. For English language arts, they were very concerned about actual literature selections. And so that was a little bit of a difference. So we were reaching out to publishers to find out, what does your 10th grade literature book hold? You know, who are the authors? Who are, what are the literature selections? So there are some subtle differences, but this details the general process that we follow for that. So we start out with working agreements and commitments, consideration for local needs based on our current data, research on standards, practices, trends. We use Ed Reports, which I have shared, and it's a very useful tool, very easy to access, and it does a great deal of the rating for us. And we also have local criteria that helps us narrow our field, choosing 3 to 5 vendors to look at the materials, and then 2 or 3 vendors for on-site presentations. So then we evaluate the assets of each program and make a selection. After the selection, it's presented to the superintendent and assistant superintendent. And then comes the really big job of evaluating supply and professional learning needs in order to implement the new materials. So I have a few examples of what the supply and professional learning needs look like. For CKLA, which is our pre-K to 5 curriculum this year, Here's a supply list. It's hard to read because there are so many items on it, but it goes through blue index cards, green index cards, things that are required at select grade levels, things that are required at every grade level. For instance, every grade level gets a US map and a world map. So these are things that we had to look through to make sure that teachers have what they need to implement this program. And even so, we've learned over the course of the year of some additional things that we'll need to order for next year. To see what this actually looks like, here's evidence of CKLA skills, where we have shifted from word walls to sound walls, and where we used to have, letters and words underneath that were sight words. Now that we're shifting to systematic phonics, we are focused on phonemes and phonemic awareness and sounds. So that's a big shift, and it's also materials and supplies that teachers need. Here's one of our world maps. This is grade 1. It's hard to read, but it actually has a pink placard and a string from each one of their reading selections in fairy tales to the area of the world where that occurred. And our first grade teachers or students understand this very well. So that stays up for the year so that students can continue to see where all of their stories are occurring in the world. As far as professional learning, here's a picture from Ready Math. This was implemented this year as well. This is a summer voluntary session that was attended by over 100 teachers, just to get themselves more comfortable, really, with the program that they were going to be teaching beginning in the fall. So that is one level of arrangement that has to be made. And with committee support and a lot of other factors involved, we've been able to put on some very high quality professional learning experiences. Here is a picture from this morning where middle school math had their Ready overview. So this is what they consider a launch. And in this picture in particular, they were demonstrating one of the strategies with this program. So each individual teacher had to solve a problem and then had to speak to another person about how they solved that problem, what their solution was, show whether they made a model to solve that, or whatever the case may be. And that's one of the procedures that they encourage with this program. It's very important for students to talk through their thinking in mathematics. So that was just this morning with 45 or 50 teachers in Strong Vincent Middle School's library. Feedback is really important. It's the only way we can improve and understand where people are coming from. So I included this snapshot of feedback, which is from this morning also. And what it shows in very fine print, the top part is your satisfaction with the location, the presenter, the pacing of the presentation, etc. So orange is good, peach is good. We want to see less blues. This is only 12 participants, so we're talking about 25% of people who attended, but it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was lucky to have gotten anything after this morning. And then the second part asks, please rate the following: overall satisfaction with this training, and then overall satisfaction with the adoption of this material. And there's a comment section where people can put specific feedback. They can ask for responses to their feedback. And the third item up here says, would you be interested in meeting with 5th grade teachers who have implemented Ready Mathematics this year to discuss their experiences? So 7 out of 12 of these middle school teachers said they would like to talk to 5th grade teachers about their experience implementing this program this year. And I want to thank Ms. Sheridan for that idea in terms of getting people together who have already had some experience with this and people who will be receiving the students who have had that experience. So this is our year 2 implementations for next year. We're going to be very data-driven. We're going to be very building-focused. A lot of PD this year has been district focus, or a whole grade of teachers, or a K-5 band of teachers. Next year, we're going to take a deep dive. We'll have a lot more data. We'll have beginning, middle, and end of year data from this year. We'll have summative assessment scores for grades that take summative assessments. And we can look at that and target needs of individual buildings and be specific about supporting those needs. And it goes through really all of the year 2 implementations. What will be new next year? There's a lot. It'll be ELA for 6 through 12, middle school math materials, high school Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and geometry materials. I want to give a huge thank you to Pam McCaskey, who's working with the biology curriculum adoption. As a former biology teacher, she has enjoyed working with that group and has taken that off my plate, which I'm very grateful for. She has a great group of teachers working with her, and so biology will also be new next year. And I really just want to thank all the committee members who have worked with me and with our group, because they've invested so much time and effort in offering our students high-quality curriculum materials. Any questions?
Thank you, Nora.
Thank you.
Mr. President, that's me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dee.
I just wanted to say, over the years, when we were sitting at these tables and we were talking about cuts and all of the things that we had to do because of the budget, it's really refreshing to see that our K-5 classrooms now have materials, and with all the work that Nora has done and the team, Pam, and all of the folks, how we're really getting some great things for our students. And I'm really appreciate all the work that Nora has done.
Thank you, B.
That concludes my report.
Do we have a motion to approve and accept the report of the superintendent?
So be it.
Moved by Mr. Spiegel. Seconded by Mr. Titus. Discussion, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's approved. Next up, we have hearing of citizens. Persons desiring to speak for 5 minutes must submit their request in writing to the Secretary's office at least 1 week prior to the board meeting. All others may speak for 3 minutes. No one requested 5 minutes. Are there any citizens in the audience that wish to address the board this evening? Please, at the podium, write down your name and address, and the floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Ashley. I am
Ashley.
a graduate of Tech After Hours, and really appreciate the certifications and the learning that I got from them. It really helped me with my job, and it provided a better future for my family, and without this, I would have not been where I am now.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you for having me.
Could you write your name down for us so we know for the record what your full name was?
I did before this started.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
Ashley.
you. Have a good day, everyone.
You too. Are there any other citizens that wish to speak to the board this evening? Okay, there is no unfinished business. Before us, we have the new business of the school district and some supplemental new business. Do we have a motion to approve both of them? We need one. Okay, moved by Mr. Spiegel.
Second.
Why so much hesitation?
We
kidding.
didn't report.
Seconded by Mr. Titus. Okay, discussion? Discussion on any of these items? I'll note that included in them is a change in a board policy that has to do with attendance at board meetings. It was added very late because we were responding to the changing times and the situation dealing with the developing health concerns. That would be just prudently acting ahead of time to authorize ourselves to meet other than in a public forum should the health department or some other jurisdiction determine that it's unsafe to assemble publicly or unwise to assemble publicly, we'd be changing our policy to allow for us to have contingency to meet and have electronic contact with each other. Hopefully never be necessary, but the policy change is here, and we hope a month from now we'll have news that it's subsided rather than worsened. But if not, it gives us that option to prepare for. Is there any discussion on that or any other item in the new business or the supplemental? Roll call.
Ms. Sheridan?
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel?
Yes.
Mr. Titus?
Yes.
Ms. Cooley?
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Pickens?
Yes.
Mr. Harkins?
Yes. Minutes of February 12th.
Mr. President,
Yes.
we did not approve the reports of the committees and liaisons.
Okay, are there any committee reports? I blew past that, I'm sorry. Are there any committee reports? But you were right, I was wrong. So we'll move then, thank you for that, darling. We'll move then to the approval of minutes for February 12th of 2020. They were electronically attached to the agenda. May we have a motion to approve those minutes? Moved by Mr. Spiegel,
Second?
second by Mrs. Feeney. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? They're approved. We need a motion to approve the bills and payroll for payment for the period of February 7th of 2020 through February 28th. And the schedule of bills for March 2020 and the non-major proprietary funds for February 2020 as attached electronically to the agenda.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Spiegel, seconded by Gwen
Yes, sir.
Cooley. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Sheridan?
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel?
Yes.
Mr. Titus?
Yes.
Ms. Cooley?
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Pickens?
Yes.
Mr. Harkins?
Yes. The report of the secretary. May we have a motion to accept and approve that?
So moved.
Is that Gwen? Dar, I'm sorry.
Second.
Let's see now. Moved by Mrs. Feeney, second by Mr. Titus. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Sheridan?
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel?
Yes.
Mr. Titus?
Yes.
Ms. Cooley?
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Pickens?
Yes.
Mr. Harkins?
Yes. Now is the point of the meeting where you have any matter which any board member wish to bring up and call to the attention to the board. Is there any board member who has anything such?
Mr. President,
Ms. Finney?
I'd be real remiss if I didn't have some kind words for one of our retired principals, Diane Bernard. Frankly, I wouldn't have had my career in the Erie School District if it wasn't for Diane. She started teaching at Piper Burley, her career, and then she became a principal at Edison. Then she went back to Piper Burley, and then with some health issues towards the end of her career, she was the principal at Glenwood, I believe. She was just an incredible mentor, an educator. If you talk to any teacher that's ever worked under her, they learn so much from her. Her love and passion for education, and also her love for the students in the city of the Erie is just amazing. Was amazing, and so we once again have lost a really good one. And the district was very fortunate to have her guidance and her leadership for many, many years. I don't know if you even know, B, how many years she was in the district, but it was 40. 40, yeah. And I realize that she probably was a great mentor to you as well throughout the years.
Mr. Spiegel? Thank you, darling.
Over the weekend, my wife and I had the opportunity and the distinct pleasure to attend the military ball for the junior OTC. It was attended by the various schools, the Seneca Prep Villa, McDowell, certainly Collegiate and Erie High, and Collegiate and Erie High hosted it. They did a great job. There were 3 young cadets that went through the whole process, probably more than them, but 3 main ones that did the planning process, which is a large event, very formal event. It was very nice. They did a great job, and it's certainly a pleasure to be around so many children, so many young students that are dedicated to improving their lives and seeking that opportunity. They did a great job. So Lieutenant Colonel Johnson and Sergeant Watson did a wonderful job with these students. I'm sure probably you know a number of them, you know, because you go to school with them, so I'm sure they're pretty good kids. So that's one. 2, it was really nice to see that young lady Ashley come up here. When was the last time we saw somebody come up here and thank us? You know, so I think it's probably the first time that I really recall somebody, a student, saying kind words. So that's very nice. And finally, you know, Nora, thank you so much for giving us that presentation. That's a presentation that we've been looking for, as Bea said, for a long time. We're looking forward to having the correct resources and watching the scores go up from there, so we can really show the rest of the community around here what our students are able to do if we actually have a textbook in their hand and curricula that has, you know, President Clinton that was actually in the books. So thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. President,
Rose.
Lori, I would like to give kudos to a board member, Lori Pickens. You did an excellent job on Black History Month, presenting the beautiful play that you did with the children. I know Jane Ross, the teacher, also was a big help, but it was very enjoyable and very well informing. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose, and thank you for coming, you and Sumner. I appreciate it, and the students were super excited too. So it was just a real good project, and we look forward to it hopefully next year. Well, or maybe one day this year.
People my age need remedial African-American history. We didn't get very much back in the 50s.
Anyone else?
Mr. President.
Mr. Titus?
Sorry, Sumner, your comment caught me a little off guard, and it made me just... There's no surprise there. You usually catch me off guard, so it's okay. I think to kind of follow up on what Sumner was saying, and Rose's point and Lori's point, that I would love to see that this move throughout the year, that we do more as a board, and now that we have the opportunities to create more inclusive and diverse curricula, and now that we're focusing on building that back up, I'm eager to see how we can pull in curriculum that is representative of our students and empowers our students and educates them about their history, not in just one month, but to know that this was the foundation of Americans' history, and they deserve to be honored in such a way. Additionally, I would like to request that I know in special projects we have formed committees to work on, but to put out to the board for discussion or to shoot down if you don't like the idea, the request of the formation of a trauma-informed committee to help the board kind of move forward with those trainings. I know that there's a lot of things that the district is taking on, and I think this is a perfect opportunity as we're developing curriculum to kind of get the board and other members in the district behind that movement. So I would just like to put that request out there to the board.
Thank you, Tyler. Anyone else?
No, I just had a probably inappropriate thought, but I just thought that we don't have the state oversight with Mr. Zogby around, and yet we still are doing well. So thank you. I just thought of it. Thanks.
I received 2 letters in my mail that was handed to me this evening, and they're both from Gannon University nursing students, and they express an interest in enhancing pedestrian and bicycle safety in the school district, or no, in the city. And I think they're sending them to us because they want us to recognize that many kids walk and bike to school. So they were addressed to me, but they're intended for all of us to see. So I'm going to give them to Angela Jones, who I request she makes copies, and maybe then forward them to the superintendent, and maybe he can have a staff member, the appropriate staff member, at least respond and see if there's anything we can do to help their efforts. I'm not sure if I understand fully what they are, but I'll give these to you, Angela. A couple other things I would point out. The Boletnikoff sign project, which is entirely funded by contributions from the public privately, is moving along towards its goal and closing in on the final target amount that they were shooting for. They're within $1,000 of their goal, and anybody who would want to help them get over the top could address or direct their contribution through the Foundation for Erie Public Schools and designate that they be for the Biletnikoff sign. And another thing is I happen to be made aware that the Erie Metro Sports Hall of Fame balloting is taking place for this spring's selection of the inductees for the honorees. And among them is William DeMaurier. He is among the deceased potential honorees. Some of the holdover board members remember the presentation that Ann Silverthorne made to us about this man, who played an important role in the development of sports, band, music, choir, all aspects of the formative school district back in the 19-teens. It was primarily his efforts that resulted in the school district acquiring and putting into operation Ainsworth Field and then the stadium. He led both of those efforts, played a leading role. He was a student advisor, an athletic advisor, and a culture advisor at the original Erie High School at 10th and Sassafras, which became Central High, and then when Academy was created a few years later, he was their first athletic director. Anyway, there's a big, interesting story about this guy, and I'm not attempting to twist anybody's arms, but we hope that the voting members of the Metro Hall of Fame are aware of this guy. I think it's appropriate for me to bring it up tonight because we told Ann Silverthorne that we'd have her back when we were more aware of how things were going to develop with the Roosevelt demolition and that whole area, because she brought it to the board's attention. And her story of how she came across this information is fascinating to anybody who loves the community. But anyway, we've been, that's still out there, and it's a very interesting story about this man, William DeMaurier. And I mention it because he was a pioneer and a leader that deserves to be recognized. And if, aside from whatever the Sports Hall of Fame does, it was thought that the district ought to find its own way to acknowledge this man's contribution to the history and development of the Erie School District in all those aspects. At our Committee of the Whole meeting, Lori Pickens made some suggestions that she'd been, and expressed some thoughts that she'd had shared with Mr. Nixon about enhancing the stair climber experience where we honor the students as we did tonight. And then Mrs. Feeney and Ms. Sheridan chimed in with some suggestions too. So I can't see if Neil's out there, but I want to make sure he knows that and has a chance to talk with them about those. And he's, as I understand it, working on developing those for implementation in the future. I think that's all I have. Oh, I did mention to Don, our technician on the way in here, that those Committee of the Whole meetings, that he says the microphone in the center of the tables picks up the voice, the audio adequately for the YouTube feed that those meetings are recorded onto. But I told him that some people in the room that sit in the back have often said they can't hear what's said by the speakers at the table. So Dawn is going to look into whether a mic can be plugged into that console with a speaker so that the people in the room, as it's happening, can hear the discussion better. So he's going to work on that. That's all I have. And if there's anything else, anyone else has
Mr. President?
Yes, Ms. Cooley.
I just want to thank everyone for their prayers during the time of my brother's passing. He graduated from Strong Vincent. He was an outstanding football player for Strong Vincent. He had made All-American honors, and he played in the Save-and-I game during '79. So I just again just want to thank you for your prayers and your blessings.
I remember when he played. Anything else, any other matter which any board member wishes to bring up for our awareness or discussion? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Mr. Spiegel.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Titus. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, meeting adjourned. Thank you.